This is going to be the building rapport and engagement in the online classroom. This speech is going to be given by Karen Galliano. Karen is an English tutor at Change in charge of preparation groups for international exams. She's also a Cambridge examiner with over 9 years of experience teaching in different settings. She's a former English instructor at Thang Long University in Hanoi, Vietnam, and she also holds a CELTA and CPE certificate. Yes, so just to remind you that you are free to share your audio and video and join us in this presentation. Yes, so here we go.
Thank you very much, Milagros. And again, welcome to all of you people who are joining already. Raquel, Torrico, and many other people more that I can't read their names. Again, you're free to join us with your audio and cameras. All right, that would be really cool. So, we can talk and discuss some of these topics that I think are very, it's kind of like they tend to go for discussion. Hello, Juan. Hi.
Hi.
There you go. So we have Juan
Hi
here.
again,
All right, so we're going to start then. And what I wanted to say before we start is that this topic, actually, I think it's one of the problems that we're struggling the most with when it comes to an online platform, which is how to build the engagement and how to build rapport. And I'm going to show you, first of all, what the contents are of this presentation. We're going to discuss on what rapport is. I know all of you know what rapport is, but I would really like to know your insights and what you think about this word that sounds kind of weird. And then we have advantages of rapport building and the challenges of online teaching. I know all of you have been struggling with different challenges. Hello, Raquel from Bolivia. Anyway, we're going to try to get to know how to identify your audience and the importance of icebreakers, and then some useful resources that I'm pretty sure all of you know already, but maybe I can, pitch in a bit more. And finally, we're going to do the questions and answer sections at the end. All right. So to start, I would like to introduce myself a bit more. My name is Karen Galliano. I'm a 30-year-old teacher. And like my slide says, I'm very passionate about making the difference to young and adult people's learning experience through teaching. I have over 9 years of experience working in diverse academic settings with students from different countries. And I know 9 years doesn't seem a lot for a lot of you people, because since I don't know if you guys have been in the networking app, and I've met a lot of people who have over 30 years of experience, and that's quite impressive. I wish I can continue with that. I'm trying to look forward to do that as well. And as you can see in the pictures on my right on the slides, I really enjoy working with face-to-face classrooms. And the reason why is that I really enjoy making my classes very dynamic. And that is one of the challenges that I've kind of faced when I change or when I move to an online platform. Like the games and looking at the students' faces and the interactions with them, it's different when you're working online, especially when you work in platforms like Zoom or Blackboard or Meet or other platforms that I probably haven't worked in yet. And anyway, we're going to try it and see. Oh, hello, Annie. Anyway, so I want to ask you a question for all of you people who are already here. What do you think is rapport? I would like to know your definitions. If you can submit your answer in the chat box, that would be great. What do you think rapport is? Is it important? So I'll just wait for a couple of answers from you. Maybe Milagros and Juan would like to tell me, what do you think rapport is?
Okay, so Juan said combination of things. What kind of things?
I was typing. I'm getting there.
All right, you can type. You can just say them, though. That's fine.
All right. So, it's several things. The students have to trust you. They have to know that you're a good teacher, right? But they also have to have, they have to like you up to a point, like not as a friend, but not feel uncomfortable with you.
That is true. So you pretty much covered my whole presentation. Thank you, everyone. I'm ready to go. Bye. Well,
Okay,
no, but thank you.
Lucia
Thank you
says,
very much.
Lucia says that a rapport is the chemistry between the teacher and the students in a classroom.
Perfect. Yeah, I agree with that.
Raquel says it is to build a nice connection with the students. It is about empathy, nice environment in class. And Emily says activities that help to create confidence in the group and try to make feel comfortable everyone.
That's true. That's true. So all of you are right. And I've actually checked and looked at some other definitions, and I found one from the Cambridge University. I'm just going to read it because it's not as accurate as I would like to, but it says that it's a good understanding of someone and the ability to communicate well with them. But what I found here is, and this is the simplest one, right? So rapport equals trust plus comfort. And I think everything is based on this, right? Like Juan said, for example, it's how the students can trust you and how comfortable they feel in your classroom so they can just be themselves. And that will help you a lot in different ways, which we're going to be looking at later. Here, I don't know if Milagros, can you help me read this, please?
Okay, so rapport. Rapport refers to a close, harmonious relationship between the teacher and the students. It is the result of being able to click with your students. You connect, interact, and understand each other in a positive way. Rapport building, however, is not just about finding common interests and values. It goes as far as creating trust and respect between you and your students, no matter how big your age gap or where you're from.
And that is really true. Remember that we have students from all around the world, especially now that we've moved to a virtual setting in which the main advantage is that we can teach everywhere, anywhere in the world, right? So again, it is to build connections, but in a positive way, right? And it doesn't matter how old your students are or where they're from. That's the important thing. So let's talk about the advantages of rapport building. I know I kind of like skipped there really quick. But the main advantages are these three, and that's what I'm going to be focusing on today. So first of all, students feel really comfortable in class. So most people who take an online English class for the first time have little to no idea what their teacher is like or what they'll do in class. They also often feel anxious and shy about speaking English for fear of sounding silly or not being understood, and that is really true. Nevertheless, it's possible to reduce these jitters if you can quickly connect with your students. So that's why students feel really comfortable in class, and that will help you a lot when you want them to participate, which is kind of like the second point, so I'm not going to rush onto that. The second point says, though, learners become more motivated to participate more. And I would like to actually ask you a question on this one. Have you ever admired an educator who didn't seem to have problems making students talk or take part in an activity, or could even make them laugh? No, that is, I remember that I had a couple of teachers that I looked up to, and you can be in their class and just, looking at them, like really admire and kind of like this, like, oh, so he's talking or she's talking. I mean, it can be she or he, right? And it's really pleasant to have that kind of teachers, and I know that all of us are as well. And let's talk about this one then. It says in here that students keep coming back for more, and that is also true. That is one of the signs that you are building rapport correctly. While students may not tell you that you are the best teacher ever, and I know they might think so, you'll know that they have good rapport with you when they regularly show up on your Zoom screen and make an effort to be in your class despite their busy schedules. Maybe this might not be all true when it comes to high school students or school students because they're forced, they're obligated to be in your class. But when it comes to adult or young adult students, if they keep coming up to your class and coming back to your class, then you know that you're doing something right because they're not forced to go to your class. I mean, they're paying because, they want to learn and they can pretty much skip the classes if they want to. But if they keep coming back, then believe me, you're doing a great job and you can call yourself one of the greatest teachers. We're going to talk about now the challenges of online teaching. And for these, I would really love it if you can pay attention to this video. And while watching this video, I would like for you to write in the chat box if you've ever experienced some of these things when working online. So for this one, I would really ask Milagros if you could please share the video. And also ask all of the audience right here if you can hear the sounds of the video. Yeah, you can start sharing it, please, Milagros.
Okay, give me a sec.
Hello, Diego there. How are you?
How are you guys?
Good. Thank you for joining us. For all of you there, remember that you can join us here too. All right. Do you have the video there, Milagros?
Oh my! Your mics. Mute your mics. Hi guys. Hi. So excited to see you. Hi. Oh yeah, you have a dog. Yeah, she's so cute. Aw. Hi puppy. Oh, you have a dog. Well, don't be careful with your. Wow, you have a cat. Aw. Everyone has pets to show. Awesome. You have a lizard. You have a snake. Nope. Out. Jordan, do you want to try and maybe like turn your camera up so that I'm not looking up your nose? No. You don't. This is kind of like my office. You don't need to see the rest of my house. Oh, you don't have to ask if you can go to the bathroom. You can just go. It's your house. But wash your hands. No, don't bring your computer into the bathroom. No one needs to see that. No. All right. Happy Wednesday. It's Thursday? Wow. Sorry, the days are kind of blended together here. Yes, I do see you have your pajamas on today. Cool. Oh, you have pajamas on too. Yeah, they're SpongeBob. Ooh, yeah, rainbow unicorn pajamas. Wow, everyone's yelling what their pajamas are. Okay, awesome. All right, I have a huge announcement. I'm so excited to share. Oh, you can't? Okay, well, my headphones are plugged in. You can't hear me, so hello? 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 Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? All right, so everybody sees this right here? What we're gonna do is, oh, it's backwards? Okay, so let's try it like this. Is that better? So that assignment is going to be on Google. Your mom has a question? No. You don't need to take me to your mom. It's no. We're in the okay. Hi, Mrs. Clark. Yeah. Do you think that we could talk later? Guys, we're not taking our time to talk about Minecraft right now. No, I do not play Minecraft. So no, on the Minecraft, let's talk about it later. Let's focus. No to Pokemon too. We're not talking about Pokemon right now. Right. So, can you? I'm literally teaching a class right now. Oh my! Whoa! Hi guys, sorry about that. Yeah, no, this is my fancy office when everyone else is being so loud in my house. Talk about fractions during. Who is listening to Post Malone? So, like, is that necessary? Ow. So just apply what we've been talking about for the last 30 minutes or so and put that work. Oh, you just logged in, so you didn't hear any of that lesson there. Awesome. Okay, so I'll just go over that again. Yep. Wow, you guys are all talking at the same time. It's like we're actually in our classroom. I miss you guys.
For a second there. All right, so as you can watch in the video, I would like to comment on this one. And Juan, Diego, you guys are teachers, Milagros, you too. What kind of these issues have you been experiencing when you moved to this online platform? Are any of these true for you? For the people, there on the chat room as well, it's the same question. Have you experienced this kind of things?
Well, I don't teach little kids right now, so a lot of those things, I'm sure they happen a lot. Thankfully, they don't happen to me so much. The problem I have a lot is noise, but not so much noise in my house, but noise in the students' houses. And it's sometimes ear piercing. It can be quite difficult. And trying to identify, because if it's your house, it's easy. But if it's somebody else's house and you have 20 students, like, all right, where's the noise coming from? Okay, everybody turn off your mics. Let's see, like, where's the icon popping up a little bit?
Where's the source? Yes.
Yes. So it can be quite difficult, and kids get distracted too.
It's true. What about you, Diego? Any experience with this sort of situations?
Well, yes, it happens a lot. Actually, I have a lot of noise at my house too, so I have to like shut down every window and every door so they can finally hear me. The coming in late, that's one issue that I have, because yeah, like I have explained something and then there's somebody else that comes in. I was like, all right, well, but it's a good like one thing that I developed is like, okay, let's get the students that I already explained this to
Right.
re-explain it to this other student to see if you have gotten it. So
Right.
it's a good point.
Yes. Set the rules for online classes is a must. That is true, Hilt. That is for sure something that you need to, set before you start any class, right? What about you, Milagros? Have you experienced any of these issues before?
Oh yes, definitely. There are always, I know, now that we are in quarantine and there are a lot of people selling things outside the houses, yes, you can listen everything that it is being sold in your student's neighborhood. Or dogs barking,
Right,
or
and
that kind of.
a dog's barking. I know. Oh, Lucia says, like, the scene in which someone gets into the room, that happens with my 2-year-old. Well, that's true. That happened to me too. Sometimes, well, like my Milagros said, my dogs start barking. If somebody's just offering lunch, it's like, hey, are you gonna have lunch already? Like, okay. So yeah. So all these things that happened on an online platform, somehow they are letting students know where we live, from not like exactly physically where we live, but how we're living and what we are like. We're sharing a little bit of ourselves, believe it or not, just by doing the classes from our houses. Because I mean, you can see, for example, the background of Juan, and I see some small toys in there, and I know he's a toy collector, right? And he likes those kind of things. And I don't see any other things on Milagros and Diego, but I'm pretty sure they're hiding stuff that they don't want to see. Anyway, so it's kind of like inviting students to like to be part of our lives as well. So we're going to talk about, and I'm playing this one again. Hold on a second. There you go. All right. So now we have, we're going to go on the categories of rapport building. Okay. And this is quite a complex or really dense information, but I'm going to try to do it really fast. So I kind of mentioned, I wanted to mention 6 important things. The first one is recognizing the person or individual. All right. So by this, what we can do, we can elicit personal information. And how do we do that? Right. We can just, for example, in an online classroom, we can just use the chat to learn the attitudes, temperaments, likes and dislikes of our students. We can encourage students to write about their personal interests, and we can use, for example, some online tools like Padlet. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. You can just set up a virtual board where you can just ask a general question and have all of the students type their answers live. We're going to go through that later. Then we have some expressing personality. That it refers to having the students, for example, right? If you're using Zoom, you can have the students choose the colors and the fonts to represent their personalities whenever you're using the tool, for example, for annotate, right? And you can just tell them, all right, Juan, Diego, Milagros, just pick a color and write the answers for these exercises. And you know that there's going to be one person who chooses black. There's going to be a girl who chooses pink, or even a boy who chooses pink. We don't know, right? And so there are many hints that are going to give us a little bit more information of their personalities, right? Then acknowledging the person. It is important that we notice the personal things about our students. We have to become the perfect boyfriend that we want to have, all right? So, for example, if we look at our students on the screen, and they have a different haircut, they have done something to their face, they have a new, I don't know, tear tattoo or something that it's quite different, we can just comment on that and ask them question, how their day was, etc. Right? And making connections so that the students, or that each students contact the teacher can look them up, and when you look at their files and say, oh, okay, so this is that student, right? So that's what we need to aim to. Then we're going to go on the tone of interactions. And this part we have being friendly, right? For being friendly, oh, wait, I think I skipped that one. Never mind. Supporting and monitoring. So supporting and monitoring is also important. And it's pretty much about posting emails or notifications. If you're using the classroom platform from Google or Google Classroom, you can also make announcements, for example, and just by saying that, dear students, if you're having trouble with something, just come and talk to me. That is a lot. It will mean really, it will mean a lot to the student. Then praising is pretty much communicating that you are really impressed with what they're trying to do, right? If they just get an 85% score in one assignment, go ahead and clap the student and say, all right, so you're actually fulfilling your goals. You're doing what you're supposed to. Thank you. You're doing great, right? And then providing feedback, because we don't have 100% of good students. We have students that they have troubles, they struggle with the learning. And so what we can do with them in this case to maintain or to keep the rapport and the engagement with them is just to, not marking an assignment in that case, and maybe just return the assignment and saying, okay, so I see that you had trouble with this assignment. How about you meet me on the chat and we can talk about it, and then you can resubmit it, right? So be friendly about it. That would be great as well. Then number 3, we have availability, accessibility, and responsiveness. And that is about being available and responding quickly, right? Talking on a daily basis, having constant messaging going on, being there to answer students' questions, and responding as soon as possible, especially when students ask a question that they need help with or when they want something. And then we can go for this part, right? This is a non-text based interactions. And the first one, it's about hearing each other and letting students hear your voice. Your voice can be the worst voice ever, but let students know that that is your voice. And I'm sorry you were born with that. And so they have to deal with it. But at the same time, they kind of see a little bit more of you again, right? And making initial telephone calls and touch base and help develop a relationship. That'll be great too when it comes to new students. If you are starting with a new group, you can call them or leave a voice message or something to let them know who they're going to be dealing with, right? Not in a warning mode, but in a, okay, so here I am, this is me, that's what we're going to be doing. Then seeing each other, right? So using the webcam to see each other is important. That's why, again, I really encourage you to join us and be part of our participative audience, because it's important that we see each other and we know how each other reacts to everything we say, providing an opportunity also for students to see a picture of you if you don't have a web camera, for example, right? And maybe to hear your voice and a video. Hello, Jessica. Nice meeting you.
Hi. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you for joining us. All right. So moving on, then we have interacting in real time. Now, this is an extra thing that I would really love to share with you. Interacting in real time, what I refer to this, is to not only have regular classes where you're teaching grammar, you're teaching vocabulary, you're teaching reading. You can also maybe organize some sort of events. I don't know if you guys, for example, organize some karaoke classes online. I know I've done that with my students. Or maybe like if you notice, there's a website that it's called Lyrics Training, where they pretty much can choose what song they would like to listen to and complete in the gaps with the missing words. They're kind of practicing the listening as well. And they're also having fun because they are listening to their favorite songs. And that is something that they really enjoy doing, right? Maybe it can also be like organizing a picnic. For example, I know I've done this for the 28th of July. And in Peru, for example, that's the anniversary of Peru. And I have all the students cooked something in their own houses, of course, that is traditional from Peru. And they will be like, sharing ideas on traditions and what we usually do for Prue's day and eating and see, okay, so I did this, I made this, and people just share and we all like drooling a little bit because, you know, one plate is more delicious than others. And that is something that you can also encourage. I'm not saying that you can do this every day, but maybe like in special occasions, and that will probably help to build more engagement with your students as well. Moving on to number 5, it's tone of interaction. So again, being friendly, which means, you know, being as positive as possible, all right? No matter what happens, you're like, all right, everything's good, everything's calm, everything's great, right? And still having more jovial relationships. You don't have to be really young to be jovial. Remember that you can just be who you are, but be happy. And building a relationship with the student so it doesn't feel as cold, right? So it's not always that we have this relationship where I'm the teacher and you're the student, but we can also be peers. Like, hey, so how's everything going? What did you do yesterday? Etc. Right? What else? Being humorous. Teachers revealing students their sense of humor. It can be any kind of humor that you like. Students will appreciate it when they get to know you. I know, for example, for instance, I'm sometimes sarcastic, but my students know that already, so then they don't take it as personal. They're like, all right, so okay, the teacher is joking. I'm like, yes, I am. All right, so you can just show yourself and be as humorous as possible, and the students will appreciate that a lot, right? And being respectful, and that's one thing that Juan said when I was asking about what rapport is, right? So treating students with respect and showing that they are important to you, it's important. Respecting the commitment that students are making, showing students respect in the chat room, right? Don't allow them to go, you know, over friendly with anyone, not only you, but everyone in the class. And conveying to students respect for making such a big commitment, treating students like adults. Even if they are adults, but they don't behave like adults, you still need to treat them like adults so they will believe that they are adults, right? And admitting mistakes. And that is one important thing. We're not perfect. Even though we're teachers, we make mistakes. And when a student points out one of our mistakes, we don't have to ignore it. We would have to say, all right, so you are right. I'm sorry. So thank you, Diego, for pointing that out. He was right, and I'm going to change that already, right? So you can do that. Admitting mistakes is also really good part of making the class a little bit more engaged and everything. Then we have the non-academic conversation interaction, and that is my last point, I swear. And first of all, it's, for example, conversing socially, right? So initiating a small talk like we did right in this presentation, like, you know, like, how are you? How do you think the conference is going, etc., etc. Communicating with students on a social level, seeking ways to have conversations with students, not only in the platform where you're teaching them, and talking about off-topic issues, right? So it's not necessary to talk all the time about what you're doing in the classroom. Talk about other stuff, like, for example, you know, like if you've already recently seen the debate on Trump and Biden, right? You know that there's a lot of things that we can comment on, and that's quite of interest, and especially when you're talking to adults, they are really interested in politics, and so am I, so it's kind of cool. Then showing care and concern, answering students when they ask questions and asking them about other things like, are you having a good week this week, right? Or asking them, how was your weekend? How are you feeling today? If students have had a personal problems, checking up with them later on to make sure that everything is okay. Sometimes they do have this phase, right, where you know that there's something behind them that they're trying to hide, and it's not essential that you get the information out of them, but it's important that you know that how they're feeling, and maybe just checking up on them later, like, oh, so are you doing okay? Are you doing better? And they'll know that you care about them, and that's quite important. Oh, well, Emily says, here in Mexico, we have Student Week, and usually have different things to do, but in this year, because we have online classes, we can make some of them. One was use crazy hairstyle. Oh, that is a funny, clever idea. I'm going to copy your idea, Emily. I'm sorry. But yes, so you can also do that, like, having a crazy hairstyle day. Mine's kind of crazy right now. I try to look good today, but didn't succeed. But you know what? I can use this for my crazy style day, and that would be really cool. Thank you very much for that idea. Let's move on here. And I'm going to, this is kind of a summary of everything that I've just spoken. And these are the easy 8 steps for rapport building. Okay. So first of all, smile, be energetic, add fun icebreakers that we will talk about now, and some other activities, of course, like maybe the hairstyle, the crazy hairstyle day, or the lyrics training, karaoke, or movie time. Learn about your students, right? Let your students get to know you. All right. Share a little bit about you. Praise your students as much as possible, of course, when they're doing something positive, right? And show empathy. Tailor your lesson so you know that, I mean, this is kind of optional, I must say, because when you're in a lesson, when you're in the class, sometimes you forget about what you've lesson planned before, and you just go with the flow. And you can allow yourself to do that when you see that you at the same time are achieving all of the outcomes that you're supposed to get from your students. So that would work great as well. And finally, help students outside the classroom, and that goes with responsiveness and be there when they need it. Right? Now, I would like to talk about the icebreakers. And I've kind of have one for you, especially for the ones that have their cameras on right now. So this is a game called, and I'm pretty sure that you guys played this game before. This is a game called Would You Rather? All right? So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you a question. And you are just with your camera. You don't need to speak. If you want, you can speak, of course. This is a free country. All right. So what I meant is that you can just, show 1 if you'd like option 1, or 2, of course, if you like option 2. So this is my first question for you people. Here we go. So would you rather eat at KFC or McDonald's? For the people in the chat, you can also answer that. That'd be great. All right, so Diego says 1, so KFC. Jessica, KFC. Really? All of you KFC? Why? I was going to say Big Mac, people. Come on. All right, so why? Why, Jessica, what would you rather to eat at KFC?
Because I love chicken, fried chicken, and I think that their food is delicious.
Yeah, it's true. But you don't like Big Macs then? No? What?
No, not
Bacon?
not that much. No.
All right. All right, cool. So we have McDonald's people in the chat room. Thank you, Rena. I actually like McDonald's more. Friends also say McDonald's. So yes, hot wings for sure. Okay, hot wings from KFC, those are a good thing. Anyway, next question. All right. So let's go on the second one. And we have, would you rather find your soulmate or find $1 million but never find your soulmate? What do you guys think? 1 or 2? Oh, so number 2.
Definitely.
This is number 2. Jessica, number 1. She's kind of a romantic person. Diego says number 2. Julio says my soulmate. $1 million, of course. All right, 2, because I've already found my soulmate. All right, that's not fair. So you can no longer participate on this one, Lucia. I'm sorry. But that's good. All right, so 1. All right, good. So why? Let me ask you why. Okay, Diego, why would you prefer to actually get the $1 million instead of
You have a lot of money and then have a lot of soul friends and not necessarily a soulmate. Does that work?
So I guess if it works for you, I actually agree with you. But you know what? It's fine. What about this one? All right, let's talk about this one. And would you rather have unlimited international flight tickets or never have to pay for food at restaurants? What do you guys think? 1 or 2? 1, says Julio. Juan, 1. Diego,
Yes.
1. Milagros, 1. That's difficult. I know, Noemi. 1, really? But it's food. It's food. Gabriela says 2. Yes, that's my
For 2.
You're going to change
Yes,
for
it's
2.
true.
All right. Tickets. 2. All right. So, Milagros, tell us, what is your answer and why?
Okay, I would prefer to have unlimited international flight tickets because traveling is a great experience. You get to know different places, and even though you have to pay for your food, You're going to know different cultures, different people, and yes, it's great. And free food is going to make you get bigger.
What about lobster? No, not lobster. All right. Well, that's great. I actually would like to say too, but at the same time, I think Milagros is right. I would really rather to be able to fly to every country in the world. That would be really great. I have some answers here though. If you save on tickets, you'll have lots of money to pay for. See, that goes,
Yeah.
the other way too. That goes the other way too. Like if you save in food, you have a lot of money to actually pay for your tickets.
You spend a lot more money in food than in tickets. You have to eat
Yeah.
every day. Yeah.
Well, you know what? It depends on how much money you spend on food. Because if you are like, like me, if you like to spend food like a lot of money, then maybe you could save that for buying a flight ticket, right? Different food though, yeah, too. If I travel a lot, I can try different food from everywhere. Oh,
That's true.
that's also true. All right, so thank you very much for your answers. And all right, so what do we get from these games? First of all, would you rather it's kind of a great way to get a conversation started in a fun and interesting way. And it's easy to get into some amazing conversations just by asking why, just like we did afterwards, right? So, and you're gonna get some very interesting answers and probably learned a lot more about the person you're talking to, in this case your students, right? Again, what do we obtain from these games? Diego, can we please read the slides here?
It's really tiny on the phone. Let me see. Hold on.
You can double click.
No, okay. I already did. So we get to know the students' interests, preferences, and personalities. They help us better. Sorry, am I supposed to stop after every bullet?
No, go.
They help us plan better classes tailored to the students' needs. Yeah. They lead us to fun discussions. They do. They definitely do. Yes.
Right. And that is, I think, the most interesting part, right? So they lead us to fun discussions. And we can talk about just one answer for hours. Of course, it's not ideal, but you could definitely talk about that for hours. We have some other icebreakers, and I'm just going to leave the names in there for you to maybe investigate about them later. So 40 seconds, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like an icebreaker that it's for a new group, for example, right? So let's say that in this case, we have Milagros, Juan, Jessica, and Diego, and I'm just going to maybe share my screen with an online countdown and say, all right, so you have 40 seconds to talk about yourself. And you can start, right? So each of them, they have 40 seconds and they can describe themselves. They can share some interesting stuff. Maybe when they've run out of topics to talk about, they can talk about random stuff. And that's kind of funny as well, right? Then we have the introducing each other, and that works perfectly with breakout rooms. You can do that in Zoom. There's an extension for Chrome and Meets as well. And Blackboard as well, you have the breakout rooms too. So what you do pretty much is that you put 2 people in each breakout room and you have them introduce each other. And at the end, when you put them back together in the classroom, then you ask, okay, Juan, so please tell me everything you know about Jessica. And so he starts talking about her and she introduces her to the class, right? So that's the idea. And this is the other one. It's called Whose Refrigerator Is It Anyway? And this is a fun activity I like to do with young adults, all right? What I do is I ask them privately to send me a picture of their refrigerator, all right? And when I collect all of the picture, I make a slide, well, kind of like a collage. And then this is what I get, right? So the idea here is to guess whose refrigerator is it, right? For example, as you can see, these are actual real pictures, right? So we have, the person who obviously lived with their parents and family, which I'm guessing is probably number 2 and 3, right? We have the university students, which I'm sure it's number 4, right? And we can have fun just by guessing whose refrigerator is it. You can, of course, switch it to, I don't know, like their bedroom or the bathroom, right? And try to come up with fun ideas so you guys can laugh and guess, what it belongs to. Anyway, useful resources, and this is my last point here, that tools, right? So first of all, I'd like to encourage you to use, I know a lot of you use Kahoot. I like Kahoot too. I love this one too. It's called Quizzes. And what I do here is not only for practicing after every grammar lesson, but you can also use it for live trivia. If you actually type in the search bar trivia, you can get a lot of interesting quizzes that you can share with your students live, right? This one, for example, is just about general trivia. There are others about like Disney World trivia or like Star Wars trivia, movie trivia. There are many that you can do with your students, maybe when you already have a really dense grammar class. For example, if you're teaching FCE preparation and you're really tired because you know like the topics in there are very complex and you get really tired at the end of them, then you can definitely go for these tools at the end to make them chill. Then we have, this is the Padlet that I was telling you about at the beginning of my presentation, right? So in here, for example, oh yeah, sure, I will definitely do that. The first one, it's quizzes.com. This one is padlet.com. I'll write them to you, and maybe Milagros, you can write them on the chat for me if that's possible. Padlet, it's kind of like an online board, and again, you can share that online with your students, and they write their answers live. And so everybody can see their answers live, right? So in this one, for example, what I did is to have the students describe their favorite cartoon character, and they can even upload pictures of their favorite character. As you can see, maybe it's not as big as I was hoping to be, but they're describing like what, how tall they are, what cartoon they are part of, etc., right? And finally, let me see. Again, online teaching is all over the world. So again, I really want to thank you all to be part of this. This is actually my last point, but I would really like to finish with these quotes that I found. And I know it's kind of like the reflection time. So maybe Milagros, can you read this for me? Oh, Milagros.
Becomes one with them, learns more from them than he teaches them. He who learns nothing from his disciples is, in my opinion, worthless. Whenever I talk with someone, I learn from him. I take from him more than I give him. Mahatma Gandhi. Oh my God, it sounds like a tongue twister.
It doesn't like a tongue twister, but it's definitely true, right? So remember that we are not only teachers, but we're learning every day for our students. It doesn't matter what they do or how they behave. We're every day learning a little bit from them. All right. And well, I think that's it. If this is the part where I just tell you that if you have any questions, you can do them now. And again, you can find me on LinkedIn as Galeano K, or in Instagram like Miss Galeano. You can also find me on Facebook as Karen Galeano, but I do have to warn you that I post memes every day. So please, it's just a warning there. My memes are all over the place. Well, if there are some questions, please feel free to do them now. Sure, Diego.
I want to ask for a recommendation. So
Sure.
just like you said, it is important to have, like face, like interaction on camera, like for them and for us to turn on our cameras and be able to see what the reactions are of everybody. So I know there is a couple of people that do not like using the camera. Is there any recommendations on how to encourage them to do so?
Yes, of course. Well, I mean, just by maybe adding some of the on-cameras activities that I suggested, or maybe some other type of activities that involves camera, just by having him not participating in it. Well, of course, it will depend on the age of the student, right? But if we're talking about a young adult or a teenage student and he's not being part of a group activity, in which, of course, all of them are sharing their cameras and they're having fun, right? I'm pretty sure somehow even their own classmates are going to motivate him to turn on their camera. In the worst case scenario, of course, that he doesn't want to share his face or anything, you can also just, ask him all the time, like, all right, so how are you doing? Like, all right, so what is the answer to this question? Or what do you think on this? And he would have to eventually be more participative, because he will notice, that he will realize that you are a little picking on him because you are making sure that he is still in the class because you don't see him, right? And then he'll be like, fine, teacher, I'll just turn on my camera. See, here I am. And it will eventually happen. Of course, you can also talk to him privately and ask him, like, if there's a personal reason why he doesn't want to share his video. And, that will also be understandable, I guess. Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, thank you for asking. Sure, Connie. Hi. Connie, I guess you had a question, or yes? All right, I cannot hear you. Can you turn on? Oh, there you go. All right.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us in these amazing sessions. We're doing online teaching at our school right now, and one of our challenges have definitely been having the kids turn on their cameras, even though we kind of put it up as a Zoom room class rule, right? But I know that I have two specific students that are very much uncomfortable speaking in with the camera focused on them. They prefer to have it, I don't know, facing the ceiling or anywhere, but focused on them, right? But it's because they're shy, and I try as much as possible to encourage them. And eventually, I mean, from couldn't get them to say any word at all, nothing.
Wow.
Very much more participative, but it took a process. It takes time for them to get comfortable with this new way of learning. So more than a question, I would like to just post that as an experience that I want to share with each and every one of the listeners here, that sometimes it just takes an extra step and an extra time of us working with these kids to accomplish certain things that might seem like, oh, this is basic, this is simple, everybody should be doing it. The teacher said to do it. I already told you once or twice that this is what you should do, just turn on your camera and focus it on you. But sometimes, like the word that you and many other of the speakers have used is empathy. Having that empathy with the student, just putting ourselves in their position sometimes, and just considering the fact that how would you feel if you were a person that's shy or that doesn't like to have cameras focused on you, and someone is practically obligating you to do so? Like, how would that make you feel? And it is a challenge. It's certainly a challenge for me, and I guess more than myself, a lot of other teachers out there. But I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Where I'm from Honduras, and it's certainly been an experience to learn, an opportunity as well to learn to adapt to this new way of teaching and learning. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much, Connie. And well, Connie is very, very right? So it takes a lot of patience and empathy, as teachers, to try to understand all of our students. And sometimes when you're dealing with kids especially, and when they feel that fear of not showing their faces, could be many reasons, right? But we as teachers have to be really understanding and try to, encourage them. It takes time, like Connie says. Sometimes it takes more time than other students to realize that it's not a big deal, but at the same time, we have to be patient. And that's what we are. We're teachers. We're patient. We're dealing with word stuff. So we're good. We can do this. All right. So thank you very much, Connie. And yeah, that was a really good anecdote or experience that you've had there. Oh, that's very cool that you come from Honduras. I would really like to go there. All right. Do we have any other questions? Any other experiences that maybe you would like to share? Comments on this? Anything?
I don't have a question, but I want to reinforce like the importance right now of rapport, because as Karen said at the very beginning, I see a lot of people join a little late, but as Karen said at the very beginning, the great majority of our tools for rapport building are not available right now. So we have to find other tools, and we have to find the way. And even like the smallest thing, like for me, the most important thing is always eye contact. And normally, like for me, Karen is here. Like if I want to have eye contact with Karen, I'm looking here, but Karen thinks that I'm looking anywhere except at her. So you have to look at the camera, even if you don't see anything that's going on. If you're looking at the camera, students feel like you're looking at them, right? Don't just look at the pictures all over the place.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. Anybody else who wants to share? And thank you, Juan, by the way. That's pretty good. I do have to talk to you later, because I think that we can share some other experiences or ideas that we can work on our classes, and that'll be great too. I know I've been finishing earlier than I was supposed to, but oh, there's Lucia.
I came back,
Hi,
Lucia. Didn't abandon you. Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to share a quick comment, actually, about a way to build rapport in the classroom, and well, the virtual classroom in this case, right? And it has to do with actually helping our students understand that the class is a learning environment. Mistakes are welcome. There is no judgment. And through humor and a little bit of heart put into our classes, it is possible to do that, right? Especially humor, you know, like laughing at our own mistakes as teachers, and you know, involving our students in that. And they have so much fun, like through silly things that just pop up in the moment, you know. Sometimes we have to plan, of course, but we also have to, you know, move with the flow. And we need to learn to be flexible as teachers. So yeah, my 2 coin worth of knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's true. Laughing at yourself, it's very useful, especially when you make a mistake, right? So, you know, like nobody's perfect. We make mistakes too, even though we look perfect, but we're not, right? But still. Anyway, again, I'm very pleased and I'm very glad and honored to be here. And thank you for all of you who joined us. I don't know if Milagros has anything to say before we, you know, finish this thing.
No, it was a pretty nice. There were pretty nice tips and things that we already know, and now we have recognized something that also we should include, right? And yes, something I like too is making fun of our own mistakes, because that also teaches students that we are humans and we can make mistakes in the process.
True. So by anyone who would like to download the handout for this session, you can click on the Rachel Martin pinned comment or message that is on the chat room. And then for the rest of you who would like to contact me, again, those are my social media right there on the screen. I hope they're still showing. And well, thank you again. And I hope you guys enjoy the conference. I know I have, and I'm really glad that I've met a lot of incredible people here. So thank you and goodbye. Have a great evening, afternoon. I don't know what time is in your countries, but yeah. Bye and thank you. Thank you very much.